Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have the fight of the century. On the right corner, we have the king of all curses, the legend himself, the unkillable, the god of the malevolent shrine, Ryoman Sukuna. On the left corner, we have the man who changed the balance of the world by being born, the untouchable, the master of infinity, Satoru Gojo. Let's see by the end of this video who comes out victorious. Hello everyone, welcome to Film Dive. Since the first episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, we were all hyped for the most dangerous match of all time, and we are 100% sure that this fight will happen. Sukuna, the king of all curses, got resurrected when Yuji Tadori ate one of his 20 cursed fingers. He will eat all of his fingers and fight Satoru Gojo with all his strength. We're going to compare them in 3 categories: physical strength and speed, intelligence, and curse technique. Just to be clear, we don't exactly know how strong Sukuna gets when he eats all of his fingers, so we have to do some guessing. And of course, this is only my opinion. Please comment yours in the comment section. Let's start with physical strength. Sukuna and Gojo both are absolute units when it comes to strength. We saw Gojo and Sukuna fight, and it was an easy win for Gojo. But it was a one-finger Sukuna, and Gojo was just showing off. But fortunately, we see them both fight again. Sukuna, with a fraction of his power, just decimates the enemies without even breaking a sweat. Even when he fights some of the strongest creatures in the Jujutsu world, he looks like he spends no energy at all. In a blink of an eye, he can close his distance and deal heavy damage to the enemy. I can only imagine how stronger and faster Sukuna can get when he eats all 20 of his fingers. On the other hand, Satoru Gojo is literally untouchable because of his curse technique, but more on that later. He might be a little slower than a 20-finger Sukuna, but he is still on god mode when it comes to speed and strength. He too faces the deadliest opponents and comes out victorious without even breaking a sweat. So they both get a 10 out of 10 in speed and strength. Now let's check out their intelligence and battle intellect. Because this video is a spoiler free, I can't name certain scenes, but I can tell you how they use their brains in fights. Sukuna is way smarter than he looks. He trades 2 blows with his opponents and quickly figures out their strengths and weaknesses. He's perfect at thinking on his feet. It is almost impossible to outsmart Sukuna because of his experience alone. This is where Sukuna really shines. Gojo, on the other hand, has his own way of gaining experience. Since he's the strongest sorcerer alive, he gets to fight the strongest foes. And we know despite his sarcastic attitude, he's really ruthless when fighting monsters. In the fights we've seen, Gojo analyzes the situation and makes the best decision really fast. He is really smart. He might not have the same experience as Sukuna, but things that have happened to Gojo were brutal. The only weakness that Gojo has in this category is his emotions. Sukuna does not act out of emotion at all, while Gojo has made some decisions based on emotions alone. And Sukuna could use this to his advantage. He could use Itadori or Megami to mess with Gojo. I have to give Gojo a 9 and Sukuna a 10 here, only because of the last factor. Now the most important category, their curse technique and domain expansions. Gojo possesses the limitless technique, which allows him to put infinity between him and his opponents. It is a really strong technique. That makes the user invincible, but he also has 6 eye. He basically was born OP. The amount of cursed energy he needs to use for a technique is almost 0. He also can see people's cursed energy. Sukuna, on the other hand, knows Jujutsu better than anyone. His cursed technique is kind of a mystery, but people think it's slashing the opponent. He's become a legend amongst the cursors and sorcerers alike. He has complete control over his cursed energy and cursed technique. But the most important factor in their fight would be their domain expansion. Domain expansion is the highest point of Jujutsu. It basically guarantees a hit. Gojo's domain expansion puts his opponent inside infinity, and by seeing and hearing everything, you're not able to do anything. You will just stand there. Sukuna's domain expansion is a work of art. It's called Malevolent Shrine, and anyone who gets trapped inside gets cut to pieces. Both of them have crazy domain expansions, but the person whose domain expansion is more powerful is gonna win. Here, I have to give them both a 10, because the only way to be accurate here is to see the fights unravel. And there you have it, only 1 point more for Sukuna, but to be fair, anything can happen in this fight. Who do you think will win? Don't forget to comment your opinions down in the comment section. And with that out of the way, I see you guys next week.